All right, hey everybody, welcome to Frame This Podcast. Nate, how you doing?
Still waking up.
All right. And today we have Olu from New York. She is from Nigeria originally. And we are so excited to have her on. Olu, introduce yourself and tell us, our guests and our listeners, tell our listeners about you.
Hi, I go by Oluwatosin. They call me Olu because it's easier to pronounce, but Oluwatosin. About me, okay. Well, I'm an artist. I just finished my master's at the New York Academy of Art in August.
Wow.
You deserve a round of applause for that. Wow, that is awesome.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you. So I've been in New York now for about 3 years. Prior to that, I was in Harrisonburg. I was at James Madison University, which
Go Dukes.
I'm an artist, but I was pre-med. I studied health sciences.
Oh, wow.
That is a huge jump.
That explains all the anatomy in your artwork.
Yeah, I was gonna be a doctor, and then life happened. So here I am.
What did that switch look like for you?
It was more of like this would sound dramatic, but it was more of like a life or death situation.
Oh, wow.
Because so as a Nigerian child, which I'm sure a lot of people or immigrant kids in general could relate to, it's kind of like when you come to a new country, you're expected to go one of like 4 routes. So you're either studying medicine, law, engineering, stuff that is going to make it like quickly lucrative. So I was pre-med, but it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to study. I was doing health sciences, but it was kind of like there was just all this work and there was this pressure. Like I remember my mom had categorically said, if you get a B or less, you're going back home. You're going back to Nigeria. Like so I was so focused on like excelling and being a top student. But it got to a point that the pressure got too much and I had a nervous breakdown and I ended up at the hospital. And the only thing that you're allowed to do on that floor, really, like you don't have any access to phones and whatnot. There's TV, but that's it. It's coloring books. So I picked up coloring papers and that was like the very first time I just sort of felt this sense of calm and it was like my mind got free. So as soon as I got discharged from the hospital, I added it as a second major. So I ended up graduating with 2 degrees actually, and a minor. Yeah, that's how I got to that point.
So what was your official graduation transcript with the 2 majors?
Yeah, so I had a bachelor of arts in studio art, and I had a bachelor of science in health sciences and a minor in chronic illness.
That's fantastic.
That is.
I need to go second guess what I'm doing with my life now.
Yeah. Well, I just host a podcast now. Woo.
This is our quarter life crisis.
Yeah, this is my
podcast.
quarter life crisis.
Had you always been creative, or was it something that hit you when you had time to think?
Well, a little bit, kind of. Okay, so I had I have ADHD, and as a kid, I would always not listen in class but doodle. Well, I was kind of listening, but it just made more sense for me to doodle while that was happening. But I got in trouble with it a lot, and I got banned from doing that. So I guess in the beginning I was, and then I had this period of time where I wasn't doing any art because I was not allowed to, because I would get in trouble at school. And then senior year of college, mind you, when I added the second major was senior year of college.
Wow. Oh my God.
So that was the gap.
Okay. What was that like? What was that experience like for you? Was that like a freeing experience, or is that like, oh my gosh, like I have a whole nother major to tackle now?
It was a freeing experience. It was kind of like my mind had been imprisoned, and all of a sudden I was free. But at the same time, it was also a fight for myself because I had to defend my choices to my parent and just explain that this is what I want to do. And at first, my mom would not even pay for that degree. She was just like, nope, because my mom did not want me to have any student loans. So for my health sciences degree, she was paying for everything. And then when I was like, oh, I'm going to study art, she was like, what? No. Like, that was not what she's paying for. So I ended up having to take student loans. And she also at the beginning, well, which now she's totally on board. But in the beginning, she was like, she did not feel like I had the skill set for it or that I could stand out. So she was just like, I'm not paying for that. She saw it as a waste of money. So for me, it was like fighting against that and also wanting to establish myself. So yeah.
Wow, that is such an amazing journey you've been on so far. Was the transition from school in Nigeria to school here and how our programs were, was that difficult? Was the transition difficult for you? Being a student, being new to this country?
Not really. It was more of like I wouldn't say the educational system itself was the difficult part. I think it was more of like a culture shock.
Okay, culture shock. Okay.
I grew up in Ibadan, which is one of the largest cities in Africa, and I moved to Harrisonburg. I don't know if you know Harrisonburg, but it's like
that's how I met this idiot next to me. I went to JMU and I studied music, and then I stuck around 2 years after for a girl, of course, because that's what us boys do. And I served coffee. He made sandwiches. He used to come down to my Starbucks off of Port, and yeah, that's how we became friends. But I can't imagine someone from like a different country that's a metropolitan area, and then coming to Harrisonburg and being like, what goes on here?
Nothing.
Yeah, that was a huge culture shock for me, and also the classroom culture. So I grew up in an environment where respect was very like important and enforced, and there was just sort of like almost like casual rapport between students and faculty that was a little bit strange to me. I mean, I think I was in what class was I in? It was some kind of math class, but it was a logics class or something. And
Ew.
It was right before like seasons were changing from like super cold to like a little bit warm. And we had been going on for a while, and I guess everyone was like brain dead, but I did not expect that anyone would like say anything out loud. And one of the students had said that, oh, I'm sorry, but it's kind of too nice of a day outside for us to be sitting in your class, so can we go? And I remember I was just so shocked. I'm like, wait, what? You can say that to a professor? Because like where I'm from, you would have gone to reset. And by reset, that would have been like a slap. So that was like that was very strange for me. Yeah, in terms of like school wise. But in terms of like workload, I would say it's kind of less because back home you have more workload. But I think the difference is like here they sort of like encourage you to have your own opinion and your own voice, and you're sort of like making arguments for stuff and whatnot, as opposed to back home it's more like this are the facts, you learn it, you regurgitate it. So different things are pushed.
Okay. I was actually gonna ask, is any of that, like what you've experienced, what you've gone through in your journey from Nigeria here, reflected in your art at all, in your work?
Not really. No. Okay. I do draw from issues or situations that are back home. I do draw from art back home, like inspiration from it, but I wouldn't say that like my experiences influenced my work directly. It's more of like a
Okay.
artistry kind of thing.
All right.
What stories do you typically like to tell with your art, if not experiential?
It is, well, it is experiential, but it's just not from my own perspective.
Okay.
So typically I with my drawings, not so much. But in my paintings, they strongly are derived from subjects of trauma and pain. So I pull from that, but that is also like it's pain and trauma founded in marginalized voices, specifically in African societies, or specifically in women. So yeah.
What is the? I'm a very type A artist, so like the planning process is super important to me. What does that look like for you with something that's such an emotional topic? Like how does the planning process typically go for something like that?
So prior to COVID-19, at this point, COVID 2020,
Yeah.
Soon to be COVID 2021.
yeah. So prior to that, I had no plan as to how I went about my work. I thrive in an environment that is chaotic. I'm one of those people that I need to see a mess and then I draw from. So I see the chaos.
More power to you. More power to you. Just go. You go.
We're both over here scratching our heads, just like, I don't know how you do that.
I'm just like, I have to be organized or I go nuts.
There's just a variety of forms that you see in a mess that you can't see in a completely stark space. Like you could be looking at something on the, I can't remember what the term is called, where you sort of like see shapes and forms and things.
Brilliance,
but that happens
creativity,
creativity, brilliance. Here, it's creativity and brilliance. Out, maybe in the like outside world, you're crazy, but here, it's brilliance.
Joe Rogan goes, "Have you ever done DMT?"
So that happens to me. But in COVID 2020, I went through a complete shift. So sometime in like February, I was sitting on the train and like a bunch of words came to me and I started writing this year. And I was writing the words. And then from that, I was like, oh, I could totally make it work about that. And I found myself like, from those words, drawing up imagery of like, okay, this could be this could be that. And from there, I built it. So right now, my planning process is draw writing, preferably a performance. And sometimes my planning process starts in my sleep. So I have very vivid dreams. I have a pretty active imagination. If you look at my drawings, they're kind of weirded, like, what is that? But it's like, I see someone and based on like prominent features and whatnot, that tends to like transform before my eyes. It's kind of like your like psychedelic visions, but without the drugs. And then I plan from that.
Coming from a non-artist background and I'm only scratched the surface when it comes to art. To me, it looks a lot like surrealism in your art, if there's a word to define it. But I don't like definitions, but it's the only way my brain works. So yeah.
He's asking, what box do you want to put your art in?
I don't want to put you in a box, but it looks very surreal. If I could use a loose definition, because there's a lot going on. And it's very dreamlike. Like I've just
fluid.
It's very fluid, and I like to, when we're doing these, go on people's Instagram, look through their art, and see if they want to talk about a piece. But
this is also, we didn't do video for the first season, so you're going to be on YouTube, so we can put up some of your artwork. as we're talking about it, so our viewers can get a better idea.
I especially like the Men Are Pigs.
Oh yeah, you
that that one I really enjoy that one.
That one I actually drew during when all of the protests were happening in New York City, and I wanted to allude to but then I just drew it that way. So
it's brilliant. I mean, I love it. I love it.
Thank you. How long have you guys been doing the podcast for?
Couple months. We started back in March.
No, not that far back.
No.
I think we had our first handful of recording sessions in like August.
It's been a process. So we started in Nate's, what was his old office, and now we've moved down here
for space and soundproofing purposes.
Hopefully it'll work. I bought some blankets yesterday. Fingers crossed. But it's been a really rewarding journey for me. I mean, I just wanted to do this on a whim because of COVID and not being able to talk to people and not being around creative people. I mean, I work with people that have done video and TV for a year, and they like produce shows and put on shows. So, I mean, that's fun. But like the relationships that I built at James Madison and the people that I was around all the time, I really miss that. And so that's why I'm here. And I just want to help artists, be known, be understood, have a platform where they can come and talk about their work, art, life, passions, creativity, you name it.
He drugged me along.
And then I drugged Nate along because I'm like, who knows a lot of artists? Nate does. Nate, you're on this podcast.
That's awesome.
I had a question, but I forgot what it was.
Thank you for asking. You might have been the first guest we've had on to say, Phil, why did you start or like, why are you guys doing this?
On a scale of 1 to like Einstein, how crazy are you for starting this shit?
How crazy am I? I don't know. I'm always crazy, but I guess I just want to say congrats to your Lakers. You're almost catching up to the Celtics, or have caught up. But whatever.
I'm not allowed to talk about sports.
Oh yeah, Nate's not allowed to talk about sports at all.
Why? What happens? Does he go crazy?
No, he gets everything wrong. He said Michael Jordan was a football player.
Excuse me, what?
Yes.
I knew that he took a brief hiatus from basketball, and I thought it was football, but it's baseball, okay?
It is. Nate knows now it's baseball. So whenever that comes up in trivia, Nate can go, baseball!
Yeah, let's not talk sports.
No, but the 30 for 30 was awesome, and I'm still going to plug that in season 2. If you haven't watched it yet, I'm still going to plug that.
What's that?
Hey, get out of here, Nate.
Seek first to understand.
Yep, let's talk more about art. Let's talk more about art and not Nate's
lack of sports knowledge. So you deal mostly with traditional media, correct? Like physical media.
Yeah, but lately I've been trying. I got some courses on Udemy, and I've been trying to learn digital art and how to paint digitally, just so I'm more marketable. So I have been exploring that. It's just a little bit difficult because I can't feel the material. It's just the surface. There's no texture to it.
Have you looked into Paperlike?
Huh?
There's a company out of Germany. They make iPad. I use an iPad Pro, and they make screen protectors that mimic paper texture.
Ooh, I have a Cintiq, so I don't know if.
Yep. But can you explain more to me about, or to us, excuse me, and our listeners, the connection you have to that piece of work? Like you said, you need that physical touch. You need that to feel that texture. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
So, like for my drawings, for instance, if you were to like zoom in on them, you'd notice that the paper itself has texture to it, and
we call that
even
tooth.
the way I draw is textured. It's almost like etching, but on paper. So I like to be able to feel my pencil go through the dips and lifts of the paper. I just like to see that, and I like to run my fingers over the surface I'm working on. I don't know. I think it's just more of a touch thing than a.
Think of it like a needle on a record player.
Okay.
Like that type of feel.
Okay. But I mean, there must be some like psychological thing going on of like you go like developing the art and like as you're touching it, as you're, you know, like you can feel it get onto the paper.
Okay, so well, not in paper, but in painting, for instance. So I, when I started the series you have, the painting series you have on my Instagram right now is the Death Did Us Part series. And when I originally started it, I was working on canvas, and then halfway through, I bought linen, and I was like, whoa. It was so much smoother. How my paint would glide on it, the sheen was completely different. So in that situation, it was more of like how it amplifies the quality of your work as opposed to just looking. Because I found that my colors are sinking in the canvas, whereas in on linen. They were not. They were just like glowing. I don't think I put my linen ones up yet, but I will eventually.
Cool. Very cool.
Are you talking about stretched linen, like over a frame?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Stretched linen.
Versus canvas.
Yeah. And so I also do watercolors, and I found that I like the like 300 pounds liner Corel paper. It's very heavy. It's very nice. Like,
yes,
I don't know. I love art materials. It's just to feel it.
Nerd out, man. Nerd out. Go for it. Nerd out. That's what we're here for.
Part of me feels like it's not even in terms of how it makes my work feel. It's just more of like a me thing where I'm just like, oh, I just feel like it's so much better. And probably someone else can be like, oh, I don't see the difference. But for me, it's like, oh, it's like, so everybody has things that are crazy about.
And when you feel good, you work good.
Yeah.
Something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just really like nice art materials.
Do you have a home studio where you like have all of your work?
No. I was crashing in the living room when COVID first started. And then I got a technically, I got a huge, a 10 by 15 foot storage space. And it's like 3 minutes from my apartment. So, because I asked, and they were like, "Oh yeah, sure, you can work in the storage space." I'm like, "Okay, that's all I'm using it for." It's like a studio, and it was a lot more cheaper because on average, studios start at like $650 in New York City. So, but the storage space was $341, and they were going to give me 50% off for the first couple of months. So it was like 170 something. I was like, yes.
Okay, everyone, learn from her. Find you a storage space, and that's where you set up your studio. Wow, that is awesome.
Life hack.
Wow, life hack. I think that's our first like major life hack we've had on here. Maybe. Aside
from Jeremy's switcher.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. So are you going there at like 1 a.m. at night and like doing stuff?
That's the caveat. Like, I did not pay for 24-hour access. So my access is limited to 6 a.m. to 6:30, 7 p.m.
Okay.
It's not bad. I just don't. I'm a night owl, so I did not.
That's what I was gonna ask. I was like, are you a night owl? And then someone's just gonna like witness you one night just flinging up the thing and going. That's in my mind. That's what I think would happen. But
yeah, I think eventually, maybe when I'm like earning more money or something, I would pay for like a 24-hour access into the building so I can just work at all times, because it's literally 3 minutes from my house. I just walk out of the house and it's right there.
Yeah, you have a great idea. I gotta go do it. I gotta
Yeah.
I gotta get it on linen, canvas, whatever.
There have been so many times at like 2:00 in the morning, I have to leave my phone on my desk to charge because otherwise I'll just hit snooze like 3 or 4 times in the morning.
Oh no.
And so like 2:00 in the morning, I have to like get up and go like write something down on my phone.
The ground and you're awake.
I'm sorry?
I said that way your feet touch the ground and you're awake.
Yeah. And so like I then don't go back to sleep because I had to get up and go look at, my light, like the phone.
Yeah, blue light. Oh man. Our eyes are gonna be terrible in like a year. I feel like everyone in our generation that's definitely going to happen, just because like we're using a lot more phones, computers, everything. Like everything is digital now. So what can you do?
So for your studio space, this is one of my personally one of my favorite questions to ask people is well, there's two. One is, do you have any unorthodox tools with your media that, like, I'll see some artists buy a tool like Home Depot that they use in their paintings or whatever.
I don't care what everybody says. Home Depot is an art store, okay? Okay? Let's just establish that fact that Home Depot is an art store.
You got your paint rollers, you got your drywall knives, you got your gaff tape.
Honestly, I feel like art is one of those areas where it's like a kitchen. Like you have all kinds of equipment, and it can be multi-purpose. And yeah, I use painter's tape. I use frog tape for my borders, like to like keep clean edges. I got a glass scraper from Home Depot. My palette is a window from Home Depot.
Your palette, nice. What is the functional difference of having glass versus like a transparent surface versus like a traditional wooden palette?
For me, it's like I can scrape it, and there's just something so good about how that knife just glides over the glass, like just the sound of it. And also, it's not just the sound of it, like when you scrape it, you can sort of like feel the texture of the paint on your blade. I don't know how to explain it, but you can feel like the softness sort of like lift up.
No, like this to me this is fascinating, like because I'm an instrumentalist, and feel is such an important thing to us and how we play our instruments. Like I just never thought of it in terms of being an artist and like being a painter, and like how everything feels. But I guess we have a lot of feelings. Artists have a lot of feelings.
Really?
We like to feel things physically and metaphorically. That's just wild. I'm learning so many new things, and like that's why I love doing this, because I learned so many new things about people.
All right, second question is, what purchase in the last 6 months under $100 has made the biggest impact on you? Aside from your studio
under
space.
$100?
Yes.
Okay, so there's this pencil, which I'll give an Amazon plug. It's an Amazon. It's called Blackwing.
Okay.
It's matte.
Okay.
Matte. So you can have layers and it's still matte. You know how like you're working on iPad, but I'm pretty sure at some point you worked with pencils and whatnot.
Used to, yeah.
But it's like when you put many layers, it starts to get super shiny and glossy and you reflect in the light. But this is called Blackwing Matte. And it's so good.
Could you say that again for our audiences? What is it?
Blackwing.
Blackwing Matte.
And it's
MATTE.
What? Okay. No, I just wanted her to go, it's life changing. There you go. Okay. So then So
there you go.
If you can't see us, our listeners, she just went with the mind blown.
That sounds amazing. Because graphite pencils do tend to have like a glow to them if you get too many.
Okay. It's kind of like the only way I can think of it in terms of like being a musician would be like strings. Be like strings on a guitar or strings on a cello or strings on a bass. Like each have their own unique qualities and their unique timbres and stuff. So that's the only way I can.
Literal video game upgrades and stats.
Okay, that's fine. There you go, Nate. That's fine. We can start talking about video games now.
I just came off of a 5-day staycation, and so I've been playing a lot of video games. So that's like fresh on my mind.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
all the snap. That's
I hear that.
Huh?
Yeah, he said staycation.
I
Yep.
did say staycation.
Entire year is a staycation. Like, what are you talking about?
It's like a
20
vacation, except you don't go anywhere.
Well, I think she's mentioning that 2020 has just been a long staycation for everybody.
Oh, well, I was planning on going to New York, so
He was.
and then COVID happened. So
I was supposed to be in Australia.
Oh, that would have been awesome. That would have been
I
awesome.
was moving to Australia for a year.
wow.
And what were you pursuing there in Australia? Just to live there and work there?
Okay, this is another plug. If anyone doesn't know what they want to do with their life right now, Australia, as long as you're under 35 or so, Australia has something called a working holiday, and basically you can leave there for a year. You're eligible to work, and you're basically on vacation, but you can do as many jobs as you want and save up money. So if you have like student loans and stuff that you need to pay back, because technically you're not working in the US, so it's not going to count as you working right now. So you could go do that, save up some money, and come back and pay some of those loans. Just putting that out there. So that's what I was going to do. I was going to go for a year.
Phil, you want to move to Australia with me?
I'd love to. That sounds like a great plan, but I have personal things in my life that I can't move very far for. So, yay. Whoopee. Oh, you're the reason that I have to stay here? Yep, I guess so. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So where do you see your art taking you in the future, if not to Australia?
I would eventually like to be somewhere in the history books as a female artist that called attention. Well, I feel like a lot of women do that these days, where they're calling attention to issues have to do with women. But I would like to be in the same sort of like mentioning the same spaces and environment as that. I also see myself leaning into character design, so working for a company like Disney or going into game design and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where
that is really interesting.
Have you ever had your? I mean, you went to school for it. So outside of student bodies, have you ever had your work like shown in public?
Well, okay. It was a connection that was done through school, but it wasn't for school. And it didn't make sense. But we had an exhibition called Eye to Eye, where a big collector in New York came through and picked up some works that he decided to he curated, and then my school put it together for him. But it was not as part of the school. And then also during the lockdown, well, in June, when a lot of the stores around New York were butted up because of the protests and whatnot, I was commissioned to paint a mural on in the meatpacking district. So yeah, so it's pretty neat.
How big was that?
So there were like windows. So I think each one was about 7. I'm a little over 5'9", so it was like.
She's taller than both of us. We're short. Sorry. I was just like, wow, we're short. Please continue. I'm sorry. I do this all the time. This is how my brain works. So
I think it was like 8 or 10 feet.
Wow.
By, 5, and I had 3 panels of those. So I don't know what the math is if you add all those together.
That's okay.
We would love
That's awesome.
To actually post that when we post your episode. Do you have like photos of that? Are there photos of that anywhere that you have that we can post?
It's on Whitehall magazine published it.
We'll have to get a link from you for that.
I don't have it's on their article. I think it's something I could send to you. But I don't know.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
No, that is wow. That is fantastic. Congratulations. You getting that project. That is so cool. That is so cool. And in New York City, like millions of people are there and like go through that like meatpacking district. Like that's amazing. So congratulations. I'm ecstatic that you got to do that.
How does someone find out about you through that mural? Is your information like tagged somewhere on it?
Well, technically, the mural was not permanent. That's another thing because they were put up. So it was photographed during that time. But if people want to find out about my work, they can go to my website. It's Oluwatosin.com. And they can find out about my work through that. But the mural itself, I think, has come down now. It was fixed to the Highland stages.
Gotcha.
So they have to get their windows.
Yeah, I moved to Richmond about a year ago, and I find new murals almost every day. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
this parking lot side of a building.
Else on it now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like the same spot, but like someone else has painted a new mural.
Yep.
So like.
I just had a great idea for a series we should do, but we'll get to that later.
Are there any artists in your space that you would really like to work with? I don't know what a collaboration in the painting world would look like.
I wouldn't say necessarily work with, but more of like work in the same space just because of how I feed off of them. So I have a group of friends that I talk to often. So Daryl Smith, Princeton and Nana, Robin Gibson, and like they I feed off very well off of them, just like bouncing ideas, just like talking about stuff. So yes, working in the same space. But I think for me, it's because like my work is so I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of people. I haven't seen anyone as of yet that works in a similar style. Yes, it might fall under the umbrella of like surrealism and whatnot, but that's something where I see my work necessarily fitting in. I kind of feel like, in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm like an outlier. So I haven't really considered how my work would look with someone else's on the same.
So I posed this question to one of our guests before, but would you see your artwork, or do you see your artwork making it into, you know, like the what is it, MoMA?
Museum of Modern Art.
Yeah, the MoMA, the Louvre. Do you want your work displayed there?
That would be nice. That's like that's a good level too. That's a good pinnacle to step onto. Yeah, that would be great. I'd like to be in the student museum too someday. I'll definitely like to have a museum show. Actually, the way my paintings were made, I created them with that vision in mind. So apart from them being paintings, there's also performance aspect to them where you are listening to something and you're basically having like a sensory reaction to it. That does not necessarily work in a gallery space, so it's more of like a museum exhibition kind of thing where you're just like you're listening, you're experiencing. Is it okay if I play one of them?
Yeah,
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Hold on just a moment. I think
if we could keep it to like maybe 20, 30 seconds, because if it's copyrighted, we don't want to get slapped with a lawsuit. So I think like
it's not copyrighted. It's my work. Well, to me, but I'm playing one of my performance pieces for one of my works. And just like I need to get an experience of
mind blown. Okay, I'm just gonna shut up and let you do your thing. I will shut up.
Okay, I don't know if you're able to hear it.
Yeah, I've been dead for 2 days now.
But can you hear it?
But yes. Today was the worst day. I had to sleep next to you overnight. The men came in some minutes ago to wash your body. They handed me a bowl of water. It was your water. Your bath water. I have to drink this, they say. The stench hits my nostrils. Nausea hits the back of my throat. I do my best to suppress it. If I don't survive this drink, it'll be the confirmation they need that I killed you. I bring the bowl to my lips. It is putrid and salty. I squeeze my eyes shut. And swallow.
That's it.
Is that an accompaniment of does that accompany a painting?
Yes. So in that, I don't know if you heard the beginning of it. So basically our husband died. They washed the body and her drinking was her drinking the water from that process.
I think I got that. I think I picked up on that. Do you do this for all your work? Do you have a company?
All of my paintings.
Holy shit. Oh my gosh. That's brilliant. That's freaking brilliant.
I'm going to have to send you a link. It's an app called Artivive. Basically, it's an augmented reality app. And on your account, you import an image that you want the app to recognize. And then on your phone, when you scan the piece, it basically like pulls up in like digital real space, whatever you tell it to. And so I've seen people use it. I've seen like there was a guy, the guy that first showed it to me. He had a bunch of political portraits. One of them was Kaepernick. And so when you scan the portrait of Kaepernick, it had like a bunch of news articles and stuff in like almost like a diorama.
Definitely send that to me.
Yeah, it's really cool. I did it with a couple shirts. And it was fantastic. I think you'd enjoy that a lot.
I'm just floored right now. Like I can't. That was so powerful and moving. And like that sound clip was like enough for me, but I got to see this work now that inspired or it's accompanying with, because shit, man.
Yeah, we'll have to include that on the website. So when we do our artist bios on the website, we have some pictures of their work. And if the website allows, I think it'd be cool to have like a little sound bar underneath whatever that piece is. On the website.
With your permission, of course.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's with your permission, of course.
That would be awesome.
When did you start developing that process? Has that always been there since the beginning?
like I said, no plan prior to COVID 2020. And then in the last 6 months, I've made 20 works. And 6 or 8 performances. Yeah.
You have been cooking. Cheers to you. That is awesome. I'm glad you have a Corona success story. That is great. That is great. Wow.
Yeah, I still have a day job, thankfully, but also I don't have time to dedicate that much to my artwork.
Nate, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Nate, you'll get there.
I'm going to be starting. Well, technically, it's a night job. I'm going to be starting a night job next week. Yeah, but during the lockdown, I was not going anywhere. So
yeah, you guys.
What else are you gonna do?
for my side,
That's fantastic, though. I've seen one of the guys we talked to on the last season. He talked about using your time to, learn something new or get better at something, which was really encouraging because I know a lot of artists are like you, stuck at home. And especially in New York.
I learned something.
I know, like in the bigger cities.
You learned something too? Did you say?
Yeah, I learned something new. So I picked up an advanced Excel class, so I can do pivot tables and pull up data and all that stuff now.
He needs your help. This guy. Talk to him about it. Let him.
What?
Data. You need data. Let's do some data. We're gonna do some data. That's great. That's fantastic. Oh, geez. I feel like I haven't been doing shit over Corona.
I mean, it's perfectly fine. I think everybody has handled this situation or new normal completely differently. And however you arrive at your like comfort level is perfectly fine. If you're overproductive, fine. If you're not productive at all, fine. You're alive, so that's more than enough.
That's probably that's our bottom line is like stay safe, stay alive, because I can't imagine how. I mean, we see news stories from New York, and like I remember just seeing what was going on in the New York hospitals, all of the news when this began.
It was crazy.
Is there anything you can like speak to that? Is there any like, can you give us a sense of like what you were feeling and what was going on in your mind during those like first initial couple?
I was crazy the first few months. I was like, it was so bad. My roommate probably was like, "What is going on with this girl?" Because one of my other roommates went back home to her family. She's not back yet. My other roommate, I was stressed. I'm pretty sure I was stressing her out because I have asthma. So when at the very beginning, it was just such a panic state to the point that I think at that time she was still working before she stopped working. And I would make it so that when she got into the house, I'm like, no. Shoes have to come off. Clothes have to come off at the door. So it was just like, I give her a bag. Everything has to go in there. I was so like panicky, and it got to the point where I was so scared that I physically began to manifest symptoms, even though I was not exposed to anything. I'll wake up in the middle of the night not being able to breathe at all, and just just choking on myself or just hyperventilating and whatnot. I started to experience chest pains. It was not good. I was not sick, but my mind was telling me I was.
Right.
That was not pleasant.
That sounds.
And it did not help that people were telling me they were taking out bodies in trailers and things like that. It was just like.
Jeez. I'm glad you're doing better. I think speaking for both of us, I'm glad you're doing better. I'm glad you're, you found that drive to complete all those 20 pieces, which holy crap. I can't even like imagine me like turning out like 20 pieces or like 20 poems or a song or something like that. I can't even imagine doing that. But more power to you. Nate?
The last time I crunched that hard, there was a year where I did an exhibit every 2 months, each of them
Wow.
with unique artwork. Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
They were.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, that's amazing. Now I can't even. I haven't drawn in over a month or painted or anything like that. I've just been like,
You need a break. You need to
hit a wall.
I definitely hit a wall. Mostly because I don't know. I feel like this is something that because I'm guessing all the artists are going to listen to this, or someone that's probably in college or whatnot. And I mean, it's great to have high expectations, but at the same time, it's also good to prepare yourself for the reality. I think graduating as an art student in the middle of the pandemic, like even before a pandemic, it's a huge competition out there. But now it's like most galleries are not open. I mean, they're starting to open up now, but for me, it was a shock to my system because I was expecting this sort of like I don't know, like doors are opening left, right, and center, and that's not the reality. And I had a hard time wrapping my head around that. It was like, wait, no.
You also have to deal with all the other artists that have been preparing for the past 6 or 7 months, like you, and so you're dealing with other people's A game as well.
All I can imagine is this like Warriors situation of like all the art. Have you seen the movie The Warriors at all? It's a cult film. So the whole premise is like this gang in New York City gets framed for killing like the boss. So they have to make their way back to Coney Island like in a night, and they have to get past all the other gangs. But I can only imagine it's like this mass of just like artists, graphic artists, like roaming the streets of New York City being like, we're free, but then we got to like get ourselves into a gallery. So like everyone's like smashing each other with like paintings, or I don't know, smacking each other with palettes, being like, it's my space.
I think that's a good visual image of,
or like the news channel battle at the end of Anchorman.
Yes, that too. Yes, the news channel battle of Anchorman. Yes, all the graphics kids have to take on the painters, who have to take on the sculptors, who have to take on the I don't know, filmmakers. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, that's what I imagine. Like the art world after this.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the reasons why I'm also learning digital skills, just because as much as I want to make what I want to make, at the same time, at the end of the day, we want to be able to survive off of our crafts, or not our craft, but just survive in general. So, and it seems like right now the market is filled with a lot of like graphic design jobs and digital jobs and whatnot. So, which is why I'm starting to pick up that skill. I never like to just sit and not do anything. And also remember that I said that in the beginning, my mom was not on board with me studying art. I mean, now she's on board, but at the same time, I don't want to go back home like tail between my legs, like, hey, it's like,
you were right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, which is why I just I need to pick up new skills. I can't be sitting on my butt hoping that some Hail Mary or like some money or contract or exhibition or gallery or whatever will fall into my lap. You have to constantly be open to doing other things, exploring other avenues. It does not mean that you give up on what you actually want to do. It's just like you're taking a temporary detour. Yeah. And the way I've done it now, the job that I'm starting, it's going to be at nights, but I get like during the day and 2 days or 3 days when I'm not working at all that I can use to focus on my craft. So it's all about finding balance.
That's great. Yeah, I really wish I would have had that mindset during school and in college, because I just went for music. That was my thing. That's all I've been passionate about. That's always I've done, and I never had a plan B. I call it a plan B or like a backup plan. But like
for the record, I just wrote down the timestamp for that. That's going to be our soundbite, I think.
Okay. I like when she was talking about what's going on in her head, but that's sort of our thing. Nate likes to focus on like the process, and I like to focus on the person. That's how we do things here. But yeah, like having a freaking plan after college would have been cool.
Do you have any pieces of advice for someone going to art school that you wish you had when you were a student?
I
was going to say a fledgling art student, but you didn't go to school for art.
I would, if you're going for a master's program, I would definitely recommend first looking into fully funded programs. Like I got scholarships, but I also have student loans now, and I would rather have not had any student loans. So look into scholarships heavily. Look at other countries like Germany. The education is completely free.
Yeah, America.
America, spelled with a U.
I mean, here in JMU actually has a free Masters of MFA program. Like it's completely free, and you also get a stipend. So I would recommend applying to that. And also, I think there are some other programs. And also, this is an advice that I wish I had gotten before I developed my very expensive tastes in art materials. But if you're just starting out, you don't need
Home Depot.
that expensive. Well, maybe some things don't get from Home Depot, but look into like cheaper alternatives, but that still give you some level of like quality. You just have to like test it out. I recommend looking at YouTube videos of art reviews of art materials, because I ended up buying this paper. It was like five sheets of paper for like $600. Don't do that.
I made that mistake once.
But I'll always...
That's what I need to spend on a new computer. But 5 sheets of paper, holy shit. That must have been some great fucking paper.
We hope it was great fucking paper.
Oh, there was a confirmation. That was good paper.
It is. It's the Lana Corel 300-pound paper. They're about 40 by 60 inches per sheet.
That's some good shit.
But you don't need
Thanks, Tally.
Whoa.
You don't need stuff that is that expensive. So like do more research. Learn to explore shortcuts. Like I don't know who made this rule where it's sort of like you have to work super hard in order for your work to cost more money. No, like when someone is buying your work, they don't care how you arrived at the end result. They just want to see the end result. They don't care about the process that went through the in between, because they don't see all that part. So like I know artists that crank out works like weekly, and they're huge, but because they have like their ways of like cutting that time short, be that like they work digitally and then project their work and then paint. I'm sure people that are like very, very traditional would hate that, but it gets the job done faster. So explore like different avenues. Don't limit your skills to just one medium. So if you're a digital artist, learn traditional. If you're traditional, learn digital. Don't just like restrict yourself, because it makes you more versatile. It also increases the things that you can do. And also it increases your problem solving skills, because for instance, if you're good at digital stuff, you can resolve all the issues that you might have in your paintings or your drawings digitally, which is easier to just erase or save the file and see what you did before, as opposed to like doing it and then, oh my God, I just did this huge painting and now I don't like it. But then you have to deal with all of this, like painting it over or restriction of the canvas. So things like that. So anyone that's like applying to go into art now or going to school, that's mine.
Well-round yourself.
No.
Learn things you're not good at.
Yeah.
I've played around in Paint before.
Microsoft Paint.
Yep. That's about it.
You do the squiggles, and then with the paint bucket, you try to fill in the...
Yeah. That's the extent of my graphic design skills. Yep.
Me Picasso.
I don't. I love Picasso. I don't want to be him. I love his work. I just don't want to be him.
Oh.
Yeah. It's really is.
I think we could talk for many much hours.
I think can we do like another 15 minutes?
15 minutes?
Do you have another 15 minutes or are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, you have another 15. I like to do another 15 minutes just to see.
We try to be respectful of everybody's time as we're operating on a Saturday morning with the whole weekend ahead of us.
I know, like this is our only time to like kind of for me to get down here and like do this because I work a 9 to 5. So yeah,
we did 5 interviews in one weekend once. No, 4. It was just 4. It was 3 on a Saturday and 1 at like 9:00 Sunday morning.
Yeah, but like I couldn't think of a better way to spend time on a Saturday.
At the end, we were just like,
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. Talking to people is tough. Let's see.
While we're on the topic of advice, are there any pieces of advice you hear in your industry that's actually just terrible advice?
Or a piece of advice that you've gotten that's terrible and that didn't turn out the way you thought it would?
Excellent variation, Phil.
Sorry, just a moment. Okay.
We like other guests on. It's okay. They can say hi.
Surprise.
I had a crit once.
I just want to grill you as a roommate.
I'm not gonna crit once. I'm not gonna mention who.
No, you don't have to mention who. You don't have to mention who.
But it was so horrible that I spent the next day or two like wanting to quit doing art. It was that bad. She basically told me that my work was cheesy. I should get rid of everything and just focus on. She saw the hands in, I think, the Backamaji painting, the one, I don't know, on my page, the one with the 2 heads. She was like, oh, just keep that. And then I had this other piece and she's like, oh, just do more of that instead. Disregard all the other ones that they just look like aliens and they look like I don't know how to paint. But I was just trying my hands at painting that I looked like I wasn't sure about what I was doing and yeah, that for me was shitty advice.
I can imagine. I was just like, and you probably took that really personally too.
I did, because the reason why I chose to have a crit from her was because I looked up to her. So it was one of those things where you look up to someone and you finally hear from them and they fall short and you can't understand why. For me, it was one of those things where I had to move past that. And if I had gotten stuck at that point, I probably would have not been able to make 20 works. If I'd listened to the advice of her saying that just do one type of a thing, as opposed to do a variety of things. Because as much as there are like links between my works in terms of style, each piece looks unique.
They do. They do.
As opposed to like how some artists sort of do like a copy paste, and then maybe change colors or like change one thing or the other. Whatever works for anyone. But I feel like for me, not letting myself be limited by that allowed me to be able to create a bunch of different types of styles within the same framework. I think that's another advice for whoever is going into art. You have to grow a tough skin, because people can be pretty savage and brutal. Like, yeah,
that's actually happened with.
Have a tough skin.
Oh yeah, no, that happens in music, graphic art. That actually happens in podcasting. You have to have a tough skin here because people can be real harsh.
Phil took some comments very seriously.
I did take some comments very seriously.
Personally.
I did not so much personally, but I was just like, are you? Well, now I don't talk to this person. I told this person to start your own damn podcast if you felt that way. But it was our first go of things, so whatever. I mean, if you want to focus on a certain area, certain like certain scene of artists, certain philosophy, whatever, go do it. Don't talk to people about what they're not doing. Go fucking do it. Shut up and do it. And whoever that person,
if you feel so
do
it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, if you feel so strongly about something, go do it. Whoever told you that advice, you're gonna have Phil's gonna say, fuck off. Phil, this guy right here. If I ever meet that person, which I probably won't, but that was shit because you put out 20 pieces
in 6 months.
In 6 months. I want like an award. Like we should have like an award or something. Like a really crappy like bowling trophy that says you did it.
A little Bitcoin N64 award,
or like a Bitcoin NC, like just something like real small. We'll just like send you for send artists.
I was thinking like an award that you would get on a video game that it just like shows up in the little corner. It's like trophy earned.
Oh, okay. So you want? Oh, okay. I understand what you mean.
I want for the video.
I want to do something physical because that's a little bit more lasting, and then people can put that in their studio.
I eat every day. I'm like, I got this from this podcast.
Yeah, two idiots in Richmond sent you something, sent you a cheap trophy. At least someone.
You know how like YouTube sends you like the plaque.
Oh, we could have so much fun like doing something like trolling that or something.
Just like a really cheesy plaque. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to troll that actually. If we could do that, that'd be really fun.
In the biz, they call that guerrilla marketing.
Guerrilla marketing, yes.
Wait, just a moment. I'm back.
That was wow.
What was that?
Did you also discover teleportation in your 6 months? You've managed to like do 20 pieces and construct the device for teleportation. She deserves an award.
No, my roommate had to get advice. So yeah. Oh man.
Where can people find out more about your artwork?
Instagram and also my website. But like Instagram has both like my work and I'm going to be uploading some of the audio pieces to that. My website doesn't have the audio pieces, so if they want to listen to those, it has to be through Instagram. But my website has some of my drawings and paintings on them, but I feel like my Instagram gets more of the stuff, but both of those.
It's more, it's a fresher feed.
More, or if you want to contact me, it'll be best to do that through my website.
Beautiful. Yeah, our past handful of guests have given us Spotify playlists for mood music. So what we would like to also include that on your artist's bio. You don't have Spotify.
Could you just like list, like give us a list of like 10 songs by artist or just 10 songs? That'd be great, and we can put it together for you and call it your playlist.
Okay, because I use Apple Music. So
me too.
My playlist is.
Yeah. Suck it.
I don't know. I just like Apple Music. I don't have Spotify.
I like being able to buy my songs if I want to.
That's great.
Okay, so I have like 2 playlists for making works. I have a paint and chill, kind of like Netflix and chill, but paint and chill.
Hey.
And then I have
love it. I love it.
And I have painting power play. So with the paint and chill, it's more like slow songs. A lot of them are Nigerian music. So Wait, I'm supposed to say the songs?
No, if you want,
Sorry.
just send me. You can text me or
I'll just send it.
send that to me, and I'll transcribe
Yeah,
it to
so-
Spotify. Because most
Okay.
people listen to
And then
Spotify.
My other playlist is more the penchant power plays are mostly more heavy music or more rap, but I tend to listen to rap music that have lyrics that get me thinking, just because I'm also writing. So things like that.
Okay,
But
so
then I
do you
also have like a subsection that moves fast.
Hey, what was that again? I'm sorry. What was that? We
Huh?
the connection broke off. What was that last part?
Yeah, it did. I was like, I also have like a subsection within it where the songs are just like, or not even in English. I have some like Korean music in there.
Are you a K-pop fan? Are you a K-pop fan?
I'm not a K-pop fan, but I'm a K-drama fan.
Okay. All right. I don't know what that is, but okay.
I do have
Korean drama versus Korean pop.
K-dramas, like Korean dramas and stuff. Which, if you haven't, you need to watch Vagabond. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's in Korean, but
Okay.
it's translated. It's subtitled in English.
I don't like
but
how
yeah,
I.
some French music.
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. That's very cool.
Like what?
What was I gonna ask? Now I had it. I had the question. Now I've lost it. How popular is American? I know. How popular is like American rap and American hip hop in Nigeria? Because I know there is.
Oh, very.
I know there is a huge music scene in Nigeria, and especially.
There is. I think Nigeria's music is currently number one in Africa. So, and it's starting to filter into the American music scene too, where they're featuring American artists and whatnot. So it's pretty popular. But lately Nigerians have been investing more into Nigerian music, but American music is pretty like popular too.
Have there anybody like famous like rock acts or like Motown like that came over to Nigeria at one point, like that got really big? Has that ever happened? This is just for my own personal, benefit. I just like to hear like where like, American artists blew up in different places.
Not that I know of. I know that, well, when I was I went to an international school. So when I was in secondary school, I know that like, I think if there was any rock, unless someone specifically went out of their way to find it, the rock or close to that was like popular is probably like Linkin Park and what's the other group? I can't pronounce it. Something since.
I'll bet you money you two made it out there.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, yeah. Because my coworker, he's from Africa. He's from Ghana, and he always talks about this one concert that he filmed because he worked for the president at the time. It was Ike and Tina Turner, I think, played a concert, and he just talks about that all the time. So I was just curious, like, who else like made it over there? Because a
lot of people go to Nigeria to perform. I think even last year there was like Cardi B and there's a lot of people, because like Nigeria's like music fest. There's a huge music scene in Lagos. Usually when foreign artists go to perform in Nigeria, it's usually Lagos or Abuja. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Because like I
don't keep up to date with that, so I wouldn't really know who specifically.
Right.
But the Cardi B one, because it was like there were memes. So.
Yeah.
I'll see a meme trend and then do some digging, and that's how I find out a lot about non-politicized current events.
Right. No, it's like I just never hear about that market. That's good. Don't watch the news. You want to stay sane. Don't.
it filters into everything. So I'm like on social media, there's a meme somewhere, and it's like you're seeing it over and over again. You're like, okay, what is it? And then you
what happened?
And you're trying to like find out what's going on.
Right.
That's how I learned about Among Us. Was all the memes.
Yes. I was just gonna say, like, I don't know about the like African music market, the music what do you call it? Like, what do you guys consume over there? I have no idea. So I was just curious.
So like in Nigeria, it's mostly like the biggest stars right now are Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido, Fireboy, DML, Mr. Easy, which is EAZI. They have pretty cool music.
Because like I love to consume other types of music and other things. I guess that's just from my education at JMU. But yeah, that's awesome. Nate?
I have exhausted my list of questions for now.
Exhaust your list of questions. And it looks like we're gonna wrap this interview up. This has been fantastic. I'm sorry, what was that again? The
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're so welcome. This has been this is a great way to start off a weekend. I'm just blown away by you and your work and your passion and your creativity, and I really hope people find out about your work. We're going to try our best to get you known. So thank you. Just thank you, and keep doing what you're doing, because it's awesome.
At the time of this recording, it'll probably be a couple months before your episode gets aired. I'm thinking like, what would we say? Like February, March?
Yeah, February, March, probably. Yeah.
We'd like to get our season 2 recorded over the winter and then edited in time. Edited in time. Edited it. Make
sure we have a timeline out. Make sure we really hit the ground running for season 2, because we want this to be really special. I think for, us and the artists, and maybe for me, to see how far we can push ourselves into reaching people and reaching artists. So, again, thank you for coming on.
Well,
any last words? Any last parting words?
So morbid.
But I don't know. I think you should just like have fun and is there theme music?
There will be, yes. Season 2
music made. You need to have a theme music. So
yeah, right. We had a friend write us some outro music.
Talent. You have music, he has art, so you make like a podcast cover, you mix the music for it.
I mean, I can look at Nate's artwork and try to make some music about it. Yeah. That'd be interesting. I don't know what I'd frickin' come up with, but thank you. Thank you for challenging us to do something different. Thank you.
And being the first person to ask us how long we've been doing this podcast.
Yes, and the first person to ask. So, to everybody listening, everyone around the globe, this has been Frameless Podcast. Thank you, Ola, for being on, and stay safe, stay hungry, and
we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll see you in 2 weeks or whatever. Thank you.